So, what do comic book creators need to know about the Action Lab class action lawsuit? My name is Gamal Hennessy. I'm an attorney, author, and business consultant who has specialized in the comic book industry since the late 1900s. Now, this isn't legal advice, but I'm going to break down the Action Lab situation for you and explain how it can help you navigate your comic book career. Now, just by way of background, Action Lab is a comic book publisher that launched in 2010 and established itself as a creator owned publisher. So instead of owning all of the characters like Marvel or DC, they publish books based on stories created by outside talent. They were supposed to pay those creators for the books that they published and sold. Unfortunately, during COVID, Action Lab stopped publishing books, allegedly, stopped paying many of their creators, allegedly, and stopped responding to inquiries from its creative partners, again, allegedly. I had more than one client who tried to get out of their deal with Action Lab because of this issue, and eventually 60 creators got together to sue Action Lab in a class action lawsuit. I'm not a part of that lawsuit, and unfortunately, that lawsuit was thrown out by a judge last week. To understand why, you need to understand what a class action lawsuit is. A class action lawsuit is a type of legal case where a group of people sue together because they've all been affected in a similar way by the same issue. So imagine if a company sells a phone with a faulty battery, and that battery injures a lot of people and damages the phone. Thousands of customers could face the same problem. Instead of each of them suing separately, they join together in a class action lawsuit against the company. Now, in theory, this is better for everyone involved. It's better for the plaintiffs who might not otherwise have the time, money, or resources to sue individually. It's faster for the defendant to either lose one case or win one case rather than have to deal with the same issue in court thousands of times. It's also easier for the court because then they can decide an issue once and not have to deal with the same issue hundreds or thousands of times. The key issues in the Action Lab case revolve around the class and the shared issues. The class, again, is the group of people who have all experienced the same problem, and the shared issues focus on the common problems or injuries experienced by the group. The judge dismissed this lawsuit on the grounds that too many of the contracts submitted in the case had different terms, since every creator had a slightly different contract based on the negotiations. Because the plaintiffs weren't similar enough, there was no class. And if there's no class, there's no class action. So the judge dismissed the lawsuit without ever determining if Action Lab did anything wrong or not. Now, this doesn't mean that the creators don't have a case. They have 45 days to respond to the judge's actions, and each of the creators will have to make a decision about moving forward. But if you're a comic creator, what can you learn from this case? First, do not rely on the courts to protect your rights. Fighting in court is expensive, both financially and emotionally, even if you are right, even if you have a valid case. And you could easily find yourself in a situation where the cost of court is more than you're trying to recover, which doesn't make sense. So if you really want to protect your rights for both your comic book and your revenue, you need to handle all of the issues in the contract. You need to understand what your options are for recovery if everything goes sideways. If the publisher doesn't publish the book, how do you get your rights back? If the publisher doesn't pay you, how do you get your rights back? If the publisher goes bankrupt or is acquired by someone else or something else catastrophic happens, what can you do to protect yourself without going to court? Because as the Action Lab case shows, you can go to court and be in court for years and not get the result that you want. So if you have questions about the comic book industry or about the Action Lab case specifically, drop a comment and let me know. If you'd like to get a free consultation about a specific issue related to your comics, you can contact me directly and I will help you out. If you'd like to join a community of professionals to help you build a successful comic book career, check out the link in the description for Comics Experience. Now, get off the internet and go make some comics.